Morning. I feel very strongly that I'm to share something that happened to me about 2.5 months ago, a little before I got off of YouTube. I don't believe they're related, and I'm a little nervous sharing it. My mind is a little erratic right now, and I've been praying. I prayed the whole way to work, and I prayed right before turning on the camera. It's one of those moments where I can feel his push. This is what you're going to talk about. And I'm just hoping he takes over because my mind doesn't even really feel organized. I wrote down some scripture and I even know the title. He gave it to me. The Most High versus the little g God of this world. And there is a Hebrew word for Most High. It's Elyon, Most High. And a long time ago, a lady from church gave me a printout from one of her books where it goes through all the names of God. He has many names. One he chose for himself, right? I am who I am. But then we've heard of them, El Shaddai, Jehovah Jireh. He has many names because throughout time we've tried to describe this undescribable God. And one of these names was Elyon. And I never heard of this one before because usually in our Bibles, it's not put there. It's just the Most High. He is God, the Most High. But it has an actual name in Hebrew, Elyon. And she gave it to me. And at the time, I didn't really understand why. I mean, this is probably a year ago. So this is way before my experience. And I remember reading it. And from what I read, it's the name that the enemy almost hates the most. Because the reason he fell out with God is because he wanted to be the Most High. He wanted to be above God. And but he couldn't be. He couldn't be. You cannot be above your creator. Creation cannot supersede creator. So the Most High versus little g God of this world, right? He roams this world. He is after us. And we don't always want to acknowledge how actually organized he is. 2.5 months ago, and I've told you, my community is dark. There is a lot of Wiccans in my community. It is a small town that is highly ungodly. So I go to Starbucks. And this is a while ago, so 2.5 months ago. And this little older lady, she always has like different colors in her hair. And she's always been nice. This day in particular, she hands me this sticker. And at first, I'm just kind of like, what? I'm being handed a sticker? And it was weird too, because it was, you know how like a company's giving something out, they're grabbing from the table, you know, there's this like natural flow. They're handing you something from the store. But it was weird. She handed me my coffee and then she looked at me and she reached into her pocket and handed me this sticker. So I was kind of weirded out because I'm like, are you giving me something from you personally? And I looked down at the sticker and it was satanic. It was this goat, satanic goat figure with the upside down star and other symbols, the snake symbol. I mean, just all over it. Satanic, obviously satanic. I was so confused and blown away by her doing this. And it felt so targeted. And I can't explain that except that I think the spirit within me knew more than I did. I felt targeted. And I remember just looking at it and looking at her. And you know when you say the wrong thing because you don't know what to say. And I'm like, thanks. And I drive away. And the whole way to church, because that's where I work, I am thinking, I can't believe I just got handed this. I just got personally handed this. She thought that I would want this. And I felt so targeted, and this grimy feeling came over me. And I remember thinking, I'm not leaving this in my car. I'm not throwing this away in my office. And I remember I walked it all the way out to the church dumpster. I wanted nothing to do with it. And sorry, I got a leftover cold. Told my dad about it. He prayed with me and he prayed for her. And at the time, I got the basic reason why we would pray for her. But I remember it rubbing me wrong. Like, I am feeling uncomfortable. I am filled with fear. I need prayer. And you're praying for her, the one who handed me this. Just go with me, because when you're struck by fear, you become the most primitive version of yourself, selfish, right? I wanted prayer for me. I wanted prayer for me. I have fear. I feel targeted. I feel like I can never go there again because I see her all the time. She was their main worker Monday through Friday. That was her shift. Monday through Friday in the morning, she worked there. And I'm thinking, I've just been robbed of a place I go. I feel targeted. She specifically gave that to me. I remember the way she thought about it and then reached into her pocket and gave it to me with confidence. And it bothered me. I stopped going to Starbucks. My husband disagreed. He thought, no, you go back, you give her a Bible. Be like, thanks for that sticker, but hey, I got something better. I just wanted to avoid it. And then I saw this video of a saved Wiccan, someone who had been part of a satanic circle, and she was high up. She was the one who was to communicate with he who was in charge, our enemy. The little g god of this world spoke directly to her. And she said that they went from just being typical Wiccans, right, to suddenly they had big tasks. They were told to target Christian believers. They were told to go after them. They would get their names, their addresses, where they worked, right? Because a lot of us are bivocational. And they would attack them specifically. They would specifically sit in a circle, do their version of prayer, targeting believers, but specifically leaders in churches, pastors, worship leaders, elders, teachers. Have you noticed the church has been under attack? It always has been. But in America, how many church leaders do you hear something horrible about? Someone who's given into temptation or lying or greed or just completely walked away, right? Adulteries, affairs, so much going wrong. And I'm listening to this woman give her testimony, and my eyes are opening. We don't like to talk about this, but they are organized. They gather like we gather. And they're on the attack. They are after us. They've been given marching orders. But this is what I liked what she said. I'm going to read this verse real quick. Matthew 18, verses 19 to 20. Again, I say to you that if two of you agree on earth about anything that they may ask, it shall be done for them by the Father who is in heaven. For where 2 or 3 have gathered together in my name, I am there in their midst. So what she shared was that they were usually very successful when Christians were alone. And what she meant by success was they could push emotions onto us. And I've talked about this before. Have you ever had that feeling where you have an emotion that doesn't even feel like yours? Like you're suddenly having a really selfish day. Everything makes you mad. You don't want to put anyone before yourself. I've had days like that where I've been very self-indulgent and could care less about anyone else. And she said that was their tactic. to find us and push emotions onto us. Emotions of anger, lust, greed, selfishness, laziness, right? Laziness, distraction. Don't work on your message. Don't work on that little lesson for those kids. Don't pray. Don't do your devotion. And they push emotions, push emotions. She said, though, back to that verse I read, that the most frustrating thing back then for her would infuriate her was when 2 or more Christians were together praying. It was like there was a dome of protection over them. They could not get through. There was absolutely no success. We were untouchable. Now, as a believer, she takes great comfort in that. She says, as a believer, I hold on to that knowledge that we are stronger together. We are stronger. Where 2 or more have gathered together in my name, I am there in their midst. And then it made me think of Psalm 91, 1-2. He who abides in the shelter of the Most High, Elyon, the Most High, is in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge. He is my fortress. Fortress. My God in whom I trust. I'm listening to this woman's testimony going, I was targeted. I knew it. Sometimes we second guess ourselves. We think we're being over dramatic. We think we're making something bigger than it is. The spirit in me knew something I didn't know. I knew this community was dark. I knew there were Wiccan communities. I knew there were satanic communities. And I knew I was being handed a satanic sticker. She knew who I was. It was on purpose. It was an eye-opening point for me of, she'd been given marching orders. She was following orders. And what was so irritating is how easily it worked, how much I was filled with fear, how much I hated having that target on my back. And my mom's birthday was April 30th. And about 2 weeks later, sorry, I finally got to take her out for her birthday treat, which was, we always do this, a pedicure together and a coffee. And for her birthday, she likes Starbucks. So it was time to stop avoiding it. Greater is he who is in you, right? 1 John 4:4. You are from God, little children, and have overcome them, because greater is he who is in you than he who is in the world. Elyon, Most High, versus little g, God of this world. And I'm thinking this, and I'm holding on to this as I go get my mom's coffee for her birthday. And sure enough, there she is. And I knew she'd be there. It wasn't even her day, it wasn't even her shift. But when you just know this is a test, and I'm going to face her. And wouldn't you know, she has a sticker again. But this time, almost like she knew I'd figured it out, she goes, this time it's a sticker from Starbucks, looking right at me, handing me a sticker from Starbucks. And I just looked at her. And I walked away humming. I can't remember what song, but just humming. And I don't know why. I just, in that moment, didn't feel like there was anything to say to her, because I walked away with this moment of, oh my gosh, she's just human. She's a person. She's a little old lady who's on the wrong path, who doesn't realize I am serving the Most High. She's serving the little g God. She has no hold on me. She has no power. I have nothing to fear. And I literally all that past fear, all that past angst, or even anger or regret or anything was just gone. It was gone. The enemy had been revealed. I knew what he was up to. I knew what he was capable of and what he wasn't capable of. Is he organized? Yeah. Does he have little minions off doing his bidding? Yeah. But they're not anything special. They are not stronger than us. Greater is he who is in you than he who is in the world. And in my Bible, it capitalizes the he for God, and it's a lowercase he for he who is in the world. I love those simplicities, right? Greater is he who is in you than he who is in the world. I still don't make a practice of going to Starbucks, but I no longer feel like something has power over me. Like I have to avoid something because it's frightening, or I might be in danger because she's just a person on the wrong path. And my dad was absolutely right to pray for her, because I walked away praying for her, realizing you're not scary, you're sad. You are serving this little g God who's got you convinced that somehow he's going to take down Yahweh. I am who I am, the Most High. He's going to take down his creator. She needs prayer. But I want you guys to realize it's good to know our enemy's organized, but it's far better to know it doesn't matter. You should be aware. You should have your eyes opened. But greater is he who is in you. And oh, please, please, don't isolate yourself. The one thing I took from that lady's testimony was she took great comfort being with fellow believers, knowing that when 2 or 3 or more are gathered, it is like a shield over them of protection. God is with them. He who abides in the shelter of the Most High will abide in the shadow of the Almighty. And the way he says refuge and fortress, because she literally described it like it was a fortress. Like there was no penetrating it. It was a dome over these people. She's like, back then it made me angry, but today I take comfort knowing I have sources of protection. I serve the Most High now. She was deceived by the little g God, but her eyes have been opened, and she serves the Most High now, and she's sharing. God told you to meet together for a reason. You are stronger together. A lot of Christians tend to isolate. Don't isolate. You are stronger with at least one more person. Meet often with a friend who is a believer. And honestly, more than one. Sorry. More than one. We need many for accountability, for prayer, for support, for encouragement, for protection. Don't isolate. It's so tempting to isolate. I'm such an introvert. I love to isolate, but I am learning that isn't where I'm safe. I am safe in him, and I'm safe with my family of believers. Greater is he who is in us than who is in the world. The enemy, this darkness is growing. It is. He has had some success with deception, with us thinking that we're okay on our own. He has divided us and scattered us and taken us down one by one. I have seen so many church leaders fall because they don't think they can be a target. It's good to know you absolutely are, because then you'll remember to put the armor of God on. Meet together. You are protected together. Be on your guard because he never sleeps. He is going after us. I forget that verse. We all know it. The way he seeks to kill, steal, and destroy. But there isn't success when we have our eyes on God and we have discernment, right? Be wise as serpents, but innocent as doves. We are to have discernment. We are not to walk around blindly and think that we're untouchable, because that's what he wants us to think. No, stay in God's word. Stay together in community. Pray over each other because he's victorious. He's Elyon, most high. And if we abide in him, he is with us. He who abides in the shelter of the Most High will abide in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge. He is my fortress. It's a song. You should look it up. Aaron Shusht, Psalm 91. It's beautiful. God bless you guys. I hope this helps you, because eyes open, but not with fear, because greater is he who is in us than him who is in the world. And if I can ever find that testimony, I'll post it, because she says so. She used to serve the little g god of this world, and she is far happier, far more free with the Most High. And she knows that he's going to win, that he is the victor. She knows, because she's seen the darkness, looked it in its face, and it has its limitations. He has rules he must follow, boundaries he can't cross, and we are his. God bless you.